Wait. Oh. Oh. Here we go. What is up, Drama Alert Nation? I'm your host, Keller Keemstar. Let's get Roy into the news. Stop it. Let me out. Stop messaging me. Okay. So, I don't know how Travis Gafford got this interview, like literally right away on Max Waldo. By the way, they did lose to COG, 0-4 COG. Now Cloud9 is, I think, 3-2. Yeah, 3-2. But they got an interview from Max Waldo, the new head coach, which is not trolling, by the way. And his new future on Cloud9. I'm so shocked. Is this even a betrayal? Apparently. Also, apparently, Double Lift said that Ellis hasn't been following Max Waldo, but apparently he hasn't been following him in the first place. I don't know. So probably nothing there, but yeah.
This is the end of the first day of week 3. My first day back at the LCS studio in more than 2 years, or in about 2 years, and it has been a banger because moments before this interview that I'm about to do with Max Waldo, Cloud9 lost to CLG, which on a normal day would be very big news. But today is extra crazy because we also heard moments before that game that LS is no longer with the team. Of course, this coverage brought to you by Alienware. So, Max, first off, you and I were talking. You're not going to tell me much about what happened with LS, yeah?
I cannot comment on that now.
Oh.
You cannot comment. Okay.
Oh.
Just wanted to establish that for everybody. Secondly, I'd love to talk to you about what happens now. So you are now the head coach of C9.
Oh.
How difficult of a role is it to step into, especially given what, there's so many conversations that are going to be happening, and a lot of this team was built around the idea.
He cannot comment on it. Let me write that down, and then we're going to get in this interview.
Idea of it being
I have a lot of
LS's
speculations.
Team and his players and all that. So what does this mean for you stepping into this role?
Okay. So I can talk a little bit about the differences between like a strategic coach or an assistant coach and a head coach.
Yeah.
So when you're a head coach, your time is consumed more by more people and a wider range of problems that are outside of just like gameplay itself, just super gameplay focused. So when you're a head coach, it's more about like being a leader in front of a group of people, managing a group of people, having them feel like a team. So when you're like an assistant coach or strategic coach, it's just you're staring at the game all day. You're trying to find improvements and advantages that players can get. And a head coach is more like you're in front of the team. You're visible to the team. You're always talking to everybody, having important conversations to them.
Okay, so now you'll have this new role. Do you think it's going to be? Does it come with any additional challenges given the fact that you were not the head coach a couple months ago, and so this was not like a team you built? There are philosophies perhaps that were not yours. Now it's your turn to kind of take over.
Yeah, so the first part of what you asked me before was like, is it going to be harder?
Yeah.
Right? It's different, but I think it actually requires a little bit like less in terms of like just work. When I was doing like assistant coaching for like the first couple months here, or like strategic coaching last year, it was just nonstop like the game. Just like doing 1v1s, talking about the game, champions, runes, items, everything. I think it's more about finding a direction, delegating to other people, to other coaching staff, because we still have a big coaching staff. Yeah. We still have a lot of people to work with. So it's more about finding a place for everybody to find the most value, to be the most effective. And I have to be in the front of that, giving direction to everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like I might have missed your question.
No, you're good. I'm just saying, so now you have to head into this, but this is also not the team that you built, right? Like this is another man's team in subsets in terms of the players that were picked and the roster that was built and the idea behind it. So I guess, is that an issue for you at all, or maybe because you've been here since day one, it's easy for you to step into that? How is that all going to play out for you?
Yes, I don't feel like it's any problem. I'm still totally bought into like the ideas about improvement, the ideas about innovation that we came in believing with this team. I think everybody still like holds these ideas. I don't think it'll be like a huge shift in direction.
All right, I am now going to ask you a series of questions that I know the community will be wanting. Obviously not around the stuff you specifically can't talk around, but after that game, I already saw some people saying like, wow, the players are playing worse because they don't have LS there, or the news today has made them decide that they don't want to play the way they normally do. So I'm asking you right now, do you think that today's news around your new role and the departure of the previous head coach played at all into the individual performances of the players?
I think that's mostly speculation. I would have a hard time substantiating that because of what actually happened in the game. I think that was likely to happen. Like based on the mistakes or the problems that we were encountering in scrims and on stage, I think that was pretty representative of our problems in game.
Let's expand on that a little bit. You say that's representative of some of the issues. So has this been like a tough week of scrims for the team?
A tough week of scrims, like we've identified some problems in our gameplay, yeah. But that's like a valuable week. Right. When we say like a tough week, it's like negative, but we want to see problems to improve on them. That's why like the split games, the outcome doesn't matter quite as much as how good you get by playoffs. Gotcha, okay. So when we encounter a lot of problems during the week, it's like, well, that's a valuable week. We see that as something of utility to the team. Yes. That we've identified a lot of things that we can do better. So now we have a direction for how we're going to do those things better.
Yes. Okay. So it's not necessarily a situation in your mind where like, oh, the team is in shambles right now because of this news or anything like that.
No, I would be able to say that.
Okay. Wait, what? Wait, what did he say?
News or anything like that. Team is in shambles right now because of this news or anything like that.
No, I would be able to say that.
Okay.
That we were like upset or something.
Yeah.
I'd be able to say that, yeah.
I mean, okay. So, like, that's what I guess you got to understand the situation I find myself in. Everybody's looking at this. They're like, they just lost to CLG. Of course it's happening. It's all falling apart.
It's kind of, I mean, our bot lane got dove.
Yeah.
Like, that's happened before.
Yeah.
We got really behind on jungle, and then our respawning camps got taken as a result. Like, you saw Ryze and Hecarim walking into the red buff, the second rebuff red spawn. That's what's happened before.
I think, especially leading into last week, but even going into this one, people were saying C9 is one of the top teams in the league. You know, top 3, top 2, top 1, whatever. Do you think that that is the case?
You mean right now?
Yes.
People are saying top 3? Yeah, top 3 or top 4.
Okay.
Yeah. When I say top 3, top 4, it's like that might be interpreted as like 3 or 4.
Yes.
But we always say like top 4. We always describe it as like top 4 teams, and then there's a gap.
Yes.
So it's like us, TL, EG, 100, gap. So like top 4 teams fighting for the higher positions. Okay. Because we don't think we're actually 4th.
So C9 fans who are watching online today, both the game and the news, do you they should maintain the faith that the team is going to continue to be a top 4 team going forward over the next couple of weeks and months?
Yeah, and the whole purpose of Spring Split is that we improve as fast as possible.
Yes.
So encountering problems like this and setting
Spring Split not matter.
is the whole point of Spring Split.
Gotcha. Okay. Were you
again?
You said that the CLG game kind of went the way it did because you saw the issues that you had seen in scrims popping up in that game. It doesn't sound like it was too surprising to you, the loss.
Yeah, the way that we lost would be the way that I could describe a loss.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. Like if you asked me before the match, like, how do you think it's possible that we could lose this game? Yeah. It's like, yeah, what happened in the game? West mid gets pushed in, dive bot, jungle camps on respawn get invaded. Yes. This is the approach I would describe to you.
In your opinion, should C9 fans be looking at the CLG loss and being like, "Oh God, the sky is falling"?
No, I don't think it's that serious.
Okay.
I really wouldn't freak out that much.
Okay. Because CLG has a long-standing history of not being a great team. So I think, obviously some fans are probably going to be concerned.
Yes, I'm aware.
Yeah.
I'm aware of CLG's history.
Okay, great. All right. Well, I'm trying to think. We've run the gambit of all the questions I feel like I can ask.
Ask me anything, Travis. I'll ask you some questions.
How do you think? Okay, hang on. How do you think the team is? What state do you think the players are in right now?
I think they're upset that they lost to CLG.
Okay.
But I think the perspective that I would want everybody to have is to think about what we can do better going forward. Instead of thinking about that we lost to a team that we think is worse than us, think about like, well, what caused us to lose this game, and how can we approach the next games in the next week with like a better approach, or just how do we fix our mistakes? How do we improve? Like focusing on things in a positive way will lead to much better outcomes than like letting this thought think in your mind, this useless thought that like we lost to a team that's worse than us. It doesn't get you anywhere.
We've got a car that's backing out right now. Why don't we just move? We'll move back a little bit. So for those that are, we're going to keep this rolling live in memory of how this has always gone before. So for those that don't know, there's a giant bright LED sign right there that's going to be flashing and making this crazy light. So I apologize for that. We should probably you're going to do the scrum.
Am I?
What?
I don't know if you are.
Maybe
That's what Fudge is doing.
Maybe
I just want to make sure I'm not holding you too long if you have another obligation and then I'm being a jerk to the other media.
I'm enjoying my time with you, Travis Gafford.
Okay. We'll keep this rolling then. All right.
Can I ask you some questions, Travis Gafford?
Wait, one last question. At least before you can ask me questions, I'll think of more for you.
Okay.
But do you think the players were surprised by today's news?
Travis Gafford, I don't think I can comment on this.
Okay, that's fair. All right. What do you want to ask me?
What do you think of today's draft, Travis Gafford?
What do I think of today's draft?
I want you to analyze.
Do you think anybody was paying attention to that fucking draft? There was a comment in the Reddit thread that was like, hey, for the 5 people who were able to concentrate and focus on that game, what happened in it because they lost? And I'm like, right there. I'll tell you what I thought of the draft was, what the fuck happened? Fionn is sitting like 2 chairs down from me in the press room, and we're just like, is this a joke? Is it not a joke? We're like messaging our sources and trying to figure out if it's like an elaborate Cloud9 prank because Cloud9 as a brand likes to play pranks. I have no clue what happened to that draft. If you ask me, the 5 champions you guys played, was Jinx in that game? She's in most games these days.
3-1-2 Jinx Corky.
Okay, well, fantastic.
So you don't even know what we drafted.
No, that's not the draft was not the most interesting thing that was happening in that moment. Tell me about the draft. Was the draft good?
I think the draft is all right. But I was
I've got some things to say. I put
Did
some
you guys
notes
do anything wonky? Because obviously you guys have been doing a bunch of wonky stuff lately.
It wasn't that wonky. It was pretty standard.
Okay.
I mean, like, it was like quirky.
Yeah.
Quirky.
Is Smite support top good for the meta?
No.
Okay.
I will give my opinion. I think it is a dumb strategy. I think that...
Did you say you won't give your opinion and then you gave your opinion?
I said I will give my opinion. I'm sorry. But I think it's a dumb strategy. I won't say what I think is good relevant to that.
Gotcha.
I will say that I think Smite top is dumb.
Okay. All right. We'll get some actual game questions in if you'd like. You want to talk about the game?
I'll answer whatever question you want to ask me, Travis Gafford.
This is not the interview I thought I would be having. For those that don't know, I showed up. I didn't even tell you this. I showed up today, and I submit all my requests at the start of the day. I'm like, okay, so with C9, you know what? I'll finally do the LS interview. I'll request after all these weeks to do an LS interview. Then the statement goes up on the broadcast, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll ask for Max if LS is not here. Yeah. And then I asked for you, and then I realized it was all real, and here we are. There's LCS staff running around, which might mean that we've gone over time, but oh no, never mind. They're running in the opposite direction. Okay.
Thor.
Yes, it's Thor.
Hey, I know that guy.
Yes.
We got him.
What does he do for you guys now?
He's a manager for our academy team. He's awesome. Okay. I love working with Thor.
He's running right now, so I don't know what that like. There's a lot of urgency right now with Cloud9. I feel like.
I don't think that's right. I don't think Thor's running because he's like anxious.
Yeah, he's like, I got to get out of here.
I got to drive fast.
Yes. Are you worried at all about? Here, actually, I'll ask you. Are you worried at all about the church coming after you?
What? The church coming?
Okay, no. I will explain this. You are acting like I'm crazy, but like, there are a lot of very rabid fans
of LS.
For LS. He's no longer at the organization. People are going to be asking all these questions about why. And they have a lot of strong opinions. And so, like, if you guys lose or you have a bad draft or something like that, I feel like people are going to be being like, Max sucks or C9 sucks or anything like that. So I guess I'm curious, are you worried at all about... You said I could ask you anything. So, I mean, has this gone through your head yet? Because, like, most content creators will say, if you say something bad about LS, it's a scary time on social media. I know you're not going to say that, but I'm just saying... That's the devotion of these fans. So are you worried at all about any kind of blowback?
I think LS drafts well, and I think we can still draft in a similar way because of the things they talked to us about.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he understands draft really well.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like...
He respects him.
If you bring results, you're not worried, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what I'm drawing from your statement about, like, he drafts well, you guys can draft well, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
You said I can ask anything, so here we are. Max,
Are you and LS still friends?
what are the chances you guys win spring?
Oh.
Do you want me to give you like a percentage?
Yeah.
Like a higher, lower?
Sure.
Percentage that we win spring. Well, C9 typically wins spring, and then we lose summer.
Right.
Ooh, here we go. Let's see if this one comes back to get me. Let's give it a safe 55% chance.
55%. Okay, so you're favored to win.
Slightly.
Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can grab this person. Mark Zimmerman. Well, we're going to see if he has any questions for you before we wrap up this interview. Yeah. Zimmermanson, is that what you call him? Do you know he calls you Zimmermanson?
I'm going to ask someone if they know something.
You've never talked to Max in your life. Okay. Yeah, so this is Mark Zimmerman. He does a show with me called Hotline League. Yeah. He put it on, so I was going to do it. Yeah. So do you have any questions for him? He can't say what happened with LS. Which is, I guess, the only question.
Let me ask someone if they know anything about us.
You actually ask him a question about the draft, because he was like, "What did you think of the draft, Travis?" And I was like, "Nobody was fucking paying attention to the draft."
It was. All right, I would say, why was it so standard? What happened? You guys were supposed to be so creative, and then LS is gone, and it's a standard draft.
So the idea is, and we stated this like very clearly, is that we have to draft both standard and non-standard for like a variety of reasons. But we're not like even under the premise of like LS always being here, we weren't just going to draft crazy champions every week. When I say crazy, it's like non-standard, but we weren't going to draft like new champions every week. The goal is to be able to play standard very well, and then also be able to play non-standard, so that it's very hard for your opponents to draft against you. But I don't know. Is that a secret?
I don't know. You said you've said it publicly, so
I really don't think that's a secret. I'm gonna say yes. I feel like that's a pretty public thing. It's like, hey, like Cloud9 wants to be able to play everything.
Yeah. That's not what anybody's gonna be thinking about right now. Just to let you know, like LS leaves, you draft normal. People are like, well, the dream is dead.
Yeah, fun's over. Fun's over. I'm trying.
If you're gonna leave. I know you've got a girlfriend waiting for you home.
Yeah, I'm a big bum. No, I'm trying to think if there's anything. I mean, like, you obviously worked with the NA version during lock-in tournament already, so I assume you have decent rapport with like those guys. How much did you get to know the Korean players before this? Like, you don't speak Korean, I assume, on the same level that LS did. So like, there's probably a bigger, like, how well did you know those guys? And is that weird at all now? That like one of the support pieces is gone. Sorry.
It's not that weird, but it's not that weird because they're getting good at English really fast. I have a little tiny bit of Korean, so to the point where I can understand a little bit of what they say. Before they got here, we had a boot camp in Korea where I was talking to them a little bit, but since like now and then, everyone is better at English. They're improving really fast.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Why'd you guys lose to CLG?
He said if he had he told me if I was to describe a loss we would potentially have, it would be that game and how it went down. So he was not surprised.
It would be the things that happened in that game.
Under a turret. Triple kill. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, thank you. I'll see you later. All right. Let's just wrap this baby up because one of your poor managers is sitting over there on the curb just looking dejected. Is there anything that you want to say to any of the fans?
Okay, whatever.
And I say this casually at the end of every one of my interviews.
People.
Oh, here.
Anything I want to say? People always ask me this in content. When we do C9 content, and I have the mic here, they're always like, is there anything you want to say to the fans? I never know exactly what to say whenever I have to like improvise this.
Okay.
I mean, this is my suggestion.
Whatever.
You know, you've probably got a lot of fans out there that are really worried. They're confused. They're possibly scared, not to make it too dramatic. And this is your moment. I'm giving you the platform by which you can try to assuage any of those concerns or fears.
Oh.
No pressure.
Well, I had this whole thing, Travis, where like I tried to stop taking myself really, really seriously because it kind of got in the way of like making things better.
Gotcha.
So it was like, try to be less serious and more sincere about what you have to do. So I would encourage people to calm down. We're just going to do what we are required to do to be.
Okay, my insider doesn't know what's going on either.
Simple and straightforward. Thank you so much, Max. And I really do appreciate this. This is our first ever interview, a very strange interview.
What's strange about it?
There's been some really big news that I don't normally interview somebody who's just stepped into a head coach role like an hour before I've talked to them. And I haven't. This is my second ever interview in this parking lot in 2 years. I've been doing all my interviews over Discord and Skype and Zoom. So it's weird in a lot of ways, and I apologize to anybody if that came through, but I appreciate you. And by the way, most people and most orgs would have just been like, we're going to eat the fine from Riot and not do interviews. So I appreciate you stepping up and doing this, even if you couldn't answer.
Okay, we done?
Hopefully people give you some credit for that, even if there's some stuff you couldn't answer.
I had fun, Travis.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll do this again in the future whenever it's not in such unusual circumstances. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my...
Yeah. So let's do some a weird analysis, right? Let's do some analysis. First off, as you guys know, blah, 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 where's that Reddit thread? Here we go. They lost 16-5. Let's look at the draft. Let's see. Camille. Well, Nar actually pooped on Camille, so yeah, whatever. Zinzao versus Hecarim. I mean, they had a triple kill in the bot lane and they literally lost, so that kind of sucks. And honestly, the roster is a little weird to me, right? Because I'll talk about the roster and what everyone's thinking. And Fudge is a top laner, and it's kind of weird to see like a top laner go mid. And I think Abadage literally says kind of, well, it's like facing an autofill mid, and maybe he should quote unquote stick to enchanters, or someone said, well, actually Freak said stick to enchanters. And you know, I mean, he is lane swapped, and it's kind of hard to pick up mid lane and play like a LCS level. I'll give him that, but I think they should have picked up someone else for that role. The one thing I do have to criticize is a weird roster, but it did work out. I mean, they are 3-1. Don't get me wrong, right? Winsome is a master tier diamond player. I mean, if you 2021 710 LP, 400 LP. He definitely improved. Let's just look at season 11 710 LP, but it's not challenger. I think it's a little weird that they have Winsome. This is a criticism on roster, kind of unrelated. My bad if I'm going a bit off topic, but when I see this and this, it's kind of like, I feel like he could have got, I don't know, maybe okay, I know this in the back of my head. Jack wants to get amateur players. I think Fudge came from Academy. Do you know why he wants to get these Academy players to the main roster? It's super simple. It's because he wants to sell them for bigger profits. That's how Cloud9 profits, is selling people like Vulcan, selling people like, who is their top? Licorice. Oh, he made a bank on selling Licorice, right? I'm pretty sure he did. So that's why he wants to have like probably some Academy players to sell and make some money. It's a great business, because let's be honest here. People pay a lot of top dollar for some good players. Unfortunately, it's pretty kind of fucking stupid. If only they knew who was really good from solo queue. Like, who is really good? Let's go down the really rookie amateur roster. Dan Kaisa, who is Danny. We got what's that guy's name? Jojo Pion, picked out straight from solo queue. I think he played amateur for like one split, promoted to LCS. He has been like, I mean, bro, he's been pro in Fortnite. It's great that EG picked him up, and they also picked up Tomio, probably going to be a really good jungler. But unfortunately, I mean, some orgs don't like to, well, they just fucking suck at picking up players because they don't understand solo queue, and whoever their scouting team, I mean, they suck dick. But I know Jack's way. He wants to sell players. So, you know, that's just a comment on the rosters. And I mean, if people want to buy his players for 5 million or whatever, go for it. Scam those people. Good for him. Make that money. Because yeah, they're just, I mean, they could just pick up some like 1,500 LP players, NA, or even from Korea, straight from solo queue, train them, and then, you know, that's just a little rant. But let's go on to people for this rant. So we got some notes here. First off, Max Waldo cannot comment on LS like getting dropped, right? LS, let's see. So he definitely cannot comment. So it's more serious than we think. And of course, if we look at LS's if we look at LS's tweet, right, it's definitely, well, you know, right here, let's look at this. I was informed 4 hours ago of my release, so for now, I'll figure out what comes next shortly. Must be reaching about my mental health, totally fine. I set out to show some things that were possible, gameplay, draft, etc. And in that short time, I believe we were able to show a glimpse of it. Even though the journey ends, I still feel satisfied that the team and players were able to showcase what we had, and knowing a lot more was possible. So no shade thrown to Cloud9. Something is going deep in the roots, and obviously Cloud9 can't say anything more. Now, my other note says, basically, there's definitely an agreement about LS and Cloud9 not to release whatever happened. Like, I'm thinking, like, I want to say that I think Cloud9 says, hey, don't say anything. Like, let's keep it cool. Like, I know this is our fault, whatever. But if this information, this is kept speculating. If the information, the insider info got released, we'd look really bad, and we wouldn't want that to happen. Maybe something like that, right? I don't know. Now, here's the thing: if LS comes back to stream and he dismisses it, he says, "Hey guys, I don't want to talk about it. That's it. I don't want to talk about it. We're done talking about it." Well, he definitely doesn't want to talk about it, and either he's contracted to say nothing bad about Cloud9 or something like that, or they could sue him or something. Like basically, if he doesn't want to talk about it, well, obviously, he does want to talk about it. He just can't because something's overlaying his head, and someone's got the hammer on him or something like that, or he's in the wrong. But you never know. And if he does talk about it, well, shit's gonna hit the fan. A lot of drama is gonna come out, and I think if he does talk about it, it'll go down two ways. Cloud9, you guys suck, or what's the or? Well, what would be the or? I guess it'd be different opinions. I'm not too sure, right? And I think Max Waldo and him are cool. I'm pretty sure they are. I mean, dude, Max Waldo is super loyal to LS, right? So he is super loyal to him. I don't think he would ever betray him. There's no way Max Waldo and LS got into an argument. It was more of LS and Cloud9. And yeah, I don't think LS would blame whatever happened. And then, yeah. Now let's see what the players are saying. So also, when we got the players after the CLG game, Blabber literally tweets disaster. Now, obviously, gets a lot of likes and what's happening. He has to tweet something. Get that Twitter clout. You know what I'm saying? So he tweets something, and he's maybe hyping up the crowd to say, "Oh, something happened," or maybe he's actually upset. But anyways, either way, the players probably aren't mad at LS. In fact, they're like, yeah, maybe their morale's down. Like, Blabber's morale's down. LS is off. We have a new head coach. I mean, that probably doesn't matter too much in the end, but they're probably also thinking, what the hell is happening with their team? And the morale is probably kind of down, so they played like crap in that game. They also did that triple killed under tower. But we'll see tomorrow when they face, I think, TSM. They'll probably face TSM, and if they do win, that's a good thing. But, maybe they're still not happy about something after they win, then something's kind of up. But if they do win, they're all happy. Maybe it's not as big a deal as we think. As for Fudge, happens. Bro, okay, look at this. If you look at this, C9 Blabber, disaster. C9 Fudge, happens. One word answers. This looks like... Bro, I swear to God, they're coordinating this and tweeting like, guys, let's just one word tweets. Let's go. Happens. Sorry. They kind of probably behind the scenes, probably not as big a deal as we think, but they're obviously gonna farm the karma. So I don't blame them. Of course, we got this guy, Z9 Berserker. Bro, the Koreans don't tweet. Summit doesn't tweet either. Like, man, they don't care about their Twitter, right, at all. That's that. And yeah, you can see right here. Look at this. That's their team, coaching staff. What's this? LS is moved off. It's not here anymore. They literally just removed off the site. It's literally Max Waldo and Vagar V2. And then I think that's it. All I have to talk about. Here's Isles. Oh yeah, weirdly enough, this is an Australian support. This guy was 1200 challenger in OCE. I don't know how good OCE is, and I'm pretty sure they shut down the server, but all I'm saying is 1200 challenger is still really good. But I don't know. I definitely know their thing. They want to sell these players. Do I really say these no-name players coming up from nowhere to sell for a better price, and people will buy them because whatever. Instead of picking up Jojo Pion, good job EG, I guess. So, well, I think that's it. We'll see what happens, because definitely when LS streams, he's going to get a lot of people asking what happened, and I think he's going to have to dismiss it. I don't think he's going to talk about it. I think we're all just going to forget about it unless someone explodes and spills the beans. But this seems like only LS and Cloud9 and everyone on the team knows what happened, but they can't speak about it to anyone. Everyone's DMing them saying what happened. They can't speak. I can't say anything. They can't say anything. You know, they're probably saying I can't say anything. So we'll see. I don't think we'll get any more, but next time LS streams, we'll see. Anyways, thank you for watching. Again, all speculation. Hey, I'm a hype this drama up, of course, right? We got to get some views. Well, thanks for watching. Bye.